Hello, my loves, and welcome to Storytime with ShiningNathan. With me, your gay auntie, ShiningNathan from TikTok. Now, if you found me here organically, welcome. Please stick around. And if you followed me here from TikTok, well, I'm glad you're here. Now, I'm going to be doing things a little differently, something fun that I thought would be great to do. And if you don't like it or you enjoy it, let me know in the comments section. And this is going to give you a review of some of the book series and books I'm currently reading to help you kind of broaden your literary expanse. And I'll completely do this all fully ad-libbed, so that way you know that my review is genuine. There's no script in front of me, nothing. I'm just giving it to you off the cuff. If you enjoy this, let me know. This does not mean that story time is not going to happen again. That's going to be the bulk of the content here, but I feel like letting you find books you have not read yet is going to be a wonderful experience, especially because I can't quite read them on here due to copyright. So it'd be great if you get to. Now, I'm going to be telling you about the book series by Charlaine Harris called the Gunnie Rose series. Now, you may know Charlaine Harris from her big smash hit, the Sookie Stackhouse Southern Murder Mysteries, Sookie Stackhouse series, which is the inspiration for the TV show True Blood. Now, True Blood and the Sookie Stackhouse books are two entirely different entities that share character names, because the Sookie Stackhouse books go into so much more depth of the supernatural world that the main character Sookie Stackhouse winds up in, that I absolutely love it and highly recommend. I forget how many books there are in that series, but it is absolutely delicious exploration of just the supernatural. Now, Charlaine Harris is very good about creating alternate worlds that are similar to reality, just enough for you to be rooted here, but also for you to be able to explore the whimsical and fantastical. And she has done this in the Gunnie Rose series. Now, I'll give a little bit of the plot. The world is set in about the 1930s, but about this time, the United States has broken apart because one of the presidents was assassinated. And so there are 5 countries where the original United States used to exist. Britannia, on the original 13 colonies, Dixie in the south, Texoma, which is part of the upper part of Texas, and Oklahoma. New America, which is like the Colorado, all that area, and then the Holy Russian Empire, with Canada having taken chunks of the north and Mexico having taken chunks of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. And so that is the world we live in. But magic fully exists in the world due to the Holy Russian Empire, which is California and Oregon. Because in this world, the Tsar escaped Russia with an entire flotilla of the nobility, and after a long time wound up in California and Oregon. Fantastic. And Rasputin actually had magic, and magic wielders actually exist in this world. And so this takes place, I think, about 10 years after the fall of the United States, or something more like that, like 20. And it is absolutely phenomenal. Now, you follow the main character, Gunnie Rose, who is a Gunnie, as it sounds, who lives in Texoma. Now, I love this book series for multiple reasons. I have read, there are 5 books out, we're waiting for the 6th. First book is An Easy Death. Second book is A Longer Fall. Third book is The Russian Cage. Fourth book is The Serpent in Heaven. And the 5th book, which is the most recent one, the one not come out yet, is All the Dead Shall Weep. All of them are fantastically done. As I mentioned before, Charlaine is very good at knitting alternative realities and adding a huge dash of whimsy. And she has only refined this as she's written these books. Now, I believe the Sookie Stackhouse series came out, 15, 20 years ago at this point? And she has clearly fine-tuned her craft. Because here you get a sense of both the real-world grit of what the Wild West would be, in the 1930s, but with magic interspersed around, seeing the hardship that people have to do in different countries versus the luxury that people live in the other countries of what was America. Now, I love this for multiple reasons. One is the representation, the casual representation of the LGBTQI plus community that happens. And I say casual because off the cuff comments that are just normal. So there may or may not have been a character who has a boyfriend. And you learn that they have a boyfriend because you've known about this character for a little bit, and he is part of this crew. And Gunnie Rose says, "Well, I need to telegram his boyfriend so that way he knows." And it is such a casual, like, let loose of this comment that is very natural, that really allows you to embrace somebody who is gay. But that's not the only representation that happens. There's representation for lesbians. There's even representation regarding asexuals and bisexuals, which does it in such a casual manner that you yourself kind of just like, that's nice. And me as a gay person, that is nice to see it in such a casual way. And Charlaine is very good at handling this and gotten so much better at making these things so casual, because it is something that exists in the world that a lot of us are accustomed to. Furthermore, she is very good about writing and weaving the tale of a world that you can see but only barely. Not only barely, but a world that is a part of yours and not. And so I love it so much that I highly recommend, because you see the natural progression of the characters as they grow. And is there some spice? A little bit. But I personally like my spice more on the mild side when it comes to certain books. And I like my spice in a book to go with the story and not the spice to take away from the story. That is my issue with another book series that a lot of people are giving a lot of accolades, that where the spice of the book overtakes the fantastic world building that was happening. Does that make sense? And this does not do that. It feels natural. There's not a lot, but enough. There's a lot more delightful tension that adds a little bit of normalcy to how people's normal relationships bloom and blossom and grow and ebb. And I think it's wonderful. And she evolves her writing style about the third book, where you start getting more perspectives of people within the world, which is beautiful and fantastic. Where she starts the first few books, this ain't gonna give much of. First few books are exactly from Gunnie Rose's perspective, and then she switches to another character's perspective, and it just fits so well. I highly recommend the Gunnie Rose series to anybody who wants to enjoy something that is an alternative fantasy world akin to ours while still rooted in ours. I highly do recommend it. And if you enjoyed this or want me to go into more detail, I can feel free to go into much further detail, because the way the story evolves, the way the intrigue is in a lot of these things, you sometimes do not guess what is going to happen or who done it until the big old not the cliffhanger, but the big old reveal, which is wonderful. And some things you kind of only pick up, at least for me, till it is more thoroughly explained. Like, you get it, but then it's like, oh my God, how things progressed. And that falls in line with Charlaine Harris's usual writing style from the Circus Stackhouse books, where they were more mystery. And she again has refined that talent here. I highly recommend, because in this series you get to explore all the different countries and how they've evolved since the United States has fallen, and it feels very good. I highly recommend it, and I hope you enjoyed this little book review. If you enjoyed it, once again, leave a comment. If you want to see continue more of my content, my story times, and everything else, feel free to turn on that notification. And as you know, my usual have to do shameless plug, if you enjoy my content and want to support me, feel free to go to patreon.com/ShiningNathan. That is my primary form of income, and I would really be blessed if you did, because it's as low as $3 a month. Please consider it. As always, I love you, never lose your whimsy, and you take care of yourself, honey. And a heartfelt thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon who make this possible. Take care.